What if a group of tiny molecules can help regenerate your body, enhance your brain power, and even slow down the aging process? All without the side effects of drugs. Although this sounds science fiction, this class of molecules actually already exists, and it's called peptides or therapeutic peptides. And you might already be using them. In case you're new here, I'm Nick Urban, founder of Outliyr.com, where I get to help high achievers like you optimize your health and performance through bioharmony. Let's get started. You've surely heard of proteins, and proteins are made up of small constituents called amino acids. When you string multiple of those amino acids together, less than 50 of them, you get what's called a peptide. And those peptides tell your body what to do, from regulating hormones to healing tissues to enhancing the activity of all kinds of different biological processes. No matter your diet, you're already consuming them in your foods, and your body also produces them naturally. For example, if you consume dairy, you're consuming milk proteins, and in those milk proteins, you have all kinds of peptides, including whey and casein. Then there's also the very popular creatine, which is a peptide. You have collagen peptides, which are used both topically and as an oral supplement. Glutathione is a peptide, and one of the most famous is insulin. You see, your gastric juices naturally contain body protective compound, and one of those subsequences within body protective compound is known as BPC 157. That's naturally occurring in the gut. Your thymus gland creates peptides, such as the thymosin family of peptides, the thymosin betas and the thymosin alphas, and particular subsequences of those, TB4 or TB500, are commonly used for wound healing. Then thymosin alpha 1 is often used as a powerful immunity modulator. Unlike pharmaceutical drugs, which are blunt and force particular outcomes, they work kind of like wrecking balls in that regard. Peptides are more precise, and because they mimic the molecules already found in the body knows how to process them more effectively, while others don't. The main difference being when the peptide binds to the receptors on the surface of cells, peptides with genomic effects trigger a signaling cascade where the molecules can enter the nucleus of the cell and influence gene activity by turning specific genes on or off. Peptides with non-genomic effects still bind to the cell's surface receptor, but they have fast-acting effects and trigger immediate changes by altering the activity of ion channels or particular enzymes. This day and age, you've surely all heard of a certain class of peptides that work on what are called the GLP-1 receptors. They're used off-label for weight loss. These are the Ozempics, the Wegovy's, the Mounjaros of the world, as well as second and third generation versions. But that's not all. There are peptides commonly used for longevity and anti-aging purposes, wound healing and tissue repair, to modulate the immune system, to enhance metabolism and accelerate weight loss, to support neurologic and cognitive health, for hormone regulation, cardiovascular health, gut health, pain relief, mood enhancement, and even as an adjunct therapy to cancer and other diseases. Then you have the peptides that humans have modified, such as the GLP-1 drugs, which take a substance that lasts for seconds to minutes in the body and dramatically increase the half-life to 160 hours. So that's like a 6,000% increase. You also have insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, and that lasts for a very short amount of time. And then the human modified version of that is called IGF-1 LR3, and that lasts way, way longer. So whenever you're taking a peptide and you're changing the action of it to last hundreds to thousands of percent longer than it would naturally, that's where I'm especially cautious. Either that, or if there's absolutely no research on it. When it comes to actually administering peptides, the vast majority are not FDA approved for any indication. And of course, you want to work with your healthcare provider to make sure that you're using these appropriately if you go down this route. Because of the molecular structure and their properties, a lot of peptides are not available as oral capsules or liquids. They simply get broken down in the digestive system and rendered inert or close to it before they can exert any benefits. The most common and usually effective way to use peptides is, unfortunately, through either subcutaneous injection or, in some cases, through intramuscular injection. Although nowadays there are other ways of using them. Usually they tend to be a bit more expensive per dose, but you can get liposomed oral peptides. This is a special way of processing the supplement so that the peptide itself withstands digestion and is able to exert some of the same effects. A very select number of peptides you can apply transdermally, and they will pass through the skin. There are also non-transdermal patches, but even then, if you're taking an oral version of a peptide, it's most likely going to act on the stomach and digestive system with stronger effects than it will locally to any particular injury. There's a lot more to discuss that I cannot compress into 5 minutes in this video. I've written several articles about peptides, including my go-to peptide sources. If you want that, that will be in the description below, as well as some of the best and most promising peptides that I've researched and compiled for you. And since you stuck around to the end of this video, comment 1% below so I know who the real ones are. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be an outlier.